Okay, all right, I call the meeting to order. We'll start with the uh, pledge to the flag. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Okay. And we, um, any changes, any omissions to the minutes? If not, can we have a move to accept the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved. This is Justin.
Okay, I seconded it. This is Evelyn.
Do you have a second, Zia?
Yeah, I second it.
All in
Evelyn.
favor?
Yes.
Anyone against? All right, if not, the minutes are accepted. I do not have anything to report, other than that Rena is looking better, feeling better. And I did want to comment on the attachment that Gia sent. And I'd like to commend I'm an old civics teacher, and I'd like to commend the Chamber of Commerce Foundation for initiating this National Civics Bee. Our Fred, are we involved at all? Our chamber?
No, Beryl, the Trumbull Chamber is not, but other surrounding chambers, including the state of Connecticut, is, and we're thankful to be proud participant sponsors of this. Dan and I have worked hard throughout the networking of our local communities to gather support. This is the third year we're doing it, and we're very optimistic and encouraged by the growth that we see behind these Civics Bee.
And is there any way of knowing if anyone from Trumbull participated?
I don't know as of this minute. I can circulate back to the commission more information if necessary, unless Dan has some content that he would like to share specifically about Trumbull.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think it's a terrific idea, and I applaud them for doing this.
Thanks, Beryl. This is Dan on hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, just to reiterate what Fred mentioned. So the BRBC and all three of our chambers have been pretty active, and more importantly, our government relations committee has been very supportive of this particular program. I haven't seen the essays that were submitted this year, not yet anyway, but usually we get one or two from the Trumbull system. The last time I checked was over 30 days ago. We didn't have any submissions from Trumbull at that time, and it was just a few days before the deadline. So I don't know. I have to look, because what happens is they go into a pool, and then the judges kind of go through the essays, and then from there I'll find out who the finalists are, and who from our region and from Connecticut, for that matter, had submitted an essay. So hopefully we get a couple from Trumbull that did submit. But right now the deadline has passed.
Okay, and I hopefully it will grow as time goes on. All right, Rena, I think you're up next.
Yes, if I go out for any reason, please, I will, somebody tell me that my internet is saying it's a little bit unstable right now for some reason. I just had it refixed and had, what do you call it, Frontier here, and now I don't know why this is happening again. So I just want to say hello and say I have sort of a list of things that I prepared that I want to touch base on. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the mall and the sale of the mall. And let me back into this by saying many of you will remember that the property went into foreclosure. It was then in receivership. Tri-Guild was named the receiver. Centennial was named the management entity for the mall. You remember that.
Mhm.
And the process was moving through the courts. At this point, the um, the debt holders have been allowed to start to market the
Rena,
property. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The
Yes.
debt holders have been allowed to start to market the property, which is good in that, you know, it's starting to move forward and hopefully will stay out of Namdar's hands, although, you know, they can certainly bid on the property. I don't think that would happen, but, you know, it's not, you know, absolutely out of the realm of possibility, but I don't see that happening at all. So I don't want to start any rumor. But the property is being marketed. It is a gentleman named Tom Dombrowski. He is the broker that we're dealing with. He's got a whole team he's dealing with. And I was telling Gia earlier today, I realized I know Tom. So that was good that I had to have previous conversations with him. So that was excellent. He and I are meeting. Did we nail down a time? I know you were working to calendar it. I
You're
can't
on.
see you, but okay.
Sorry, I think I'm having some connection issues myself, but you're scheduled for Monday.
Yeah, so that's great. So I'm probably going to invite Vicky if she's available to sit in on that. We spoke about that today, G, so we can probably add her to the invite if she's available. But if not, we'll get her in next time. But what we're going to do is go through all the listing, all the way they're marketing, what they're doing, how we can support that, what we're doing on the property. A lot of this you're aware of from previous you know, efforts to inform you. But you know that for a long time, we've been anybody that's talking about the mall or people that we've reached out to, we're keeping sort of we actually have a binder, a book of everybody that's sort of connected with us about the mall property and their interest in it. So I will be working through that with the broker. So I'm actually excited that they finally got a broker in place and they're going to start to market the property. They're marketing it nationally, of course, and regionally, but I've had multiple phone calls from
I don't have the picture.
people that,
Tell me what you're doing.
are you, I can't hear what you're saying, Beryl.
I'm having trouble getting the picture.
Oh, okay. Um,
Sign in.
Don't leave.
okay. So
Okay.
would you like me to continue talking or do you want me to?
Yes,
Oh,
Please.
okay. So, you know, we will be, you know, meeting and talking about the property and the opportunity to
Email address.
get as much interest as possible. And again, those folks that we've already spoken with, I'll be, you know, connecting them into the system. Some are people that have an interest in purchasing the mall potentially. Certainly the price of it is the big issue. But other people who have an interest in some
Right.
aspect of redevelopment. So making sure that the broker knows about all of that because whether they're interested in potential purchase of the property or they're interested in some aspect of it, that has value to whoever's looking at the property. I see Pat's hand up.
yes, what's the price, or is that
Well,
public?
we can't, that's not something I can say here yet. I'm going to be meeting with folks
All right.
and whether they're going to actually market it with a specific price tag or they're going to go into more confidential discussions about the price. I don't know.
Right.
it's there.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
But one thing I can tell you, Pat, is that the property had, I believe, approximately at a few years ago, but you know, they may have paid down some of this, but it had approximately $152 million in debt on it. That some of that's been paid down. You know, and I don't know you know, if they're going to get that, but, you know, they certainly want to get as much as they can for the property, being that they hold the debt. And also,
course.
we certainly want them to get as much as we can for the property because that, you know, affects our grand list. So I'll know more coming up. But I wanted you to know that the property is for sale formally.
Great.
And we'll continue to talk about that in subsequent conversations and meetings. The next thing I wanted to mention to you, unless anybody has questions about that before I move on.
No,
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to mention is the Gateway Commons project. It is changing its name. It's going to be something on the Pequannock or you know, something like that, but we refer to it based on its approval right now of to Gateway Commons. That's the property on the Trumbull Monroe line that is partially in Trumbull. The real estate is partially in Trumbull, partially in um,
Monroe.
Monroe. So that project, we've been meeting. There is a development group that is very seriously sort of finalizing their interest in the property. I'm short of saying that they're ready to close because no deal is done until it's done and anything can happen. But I met with them last week again, and by all indications, they're very serious in their position to acquire the project. And, you know, we've been working with them. We're in the process of setting up a meeting just to get Monroe and Trumbull folks all together. We're going to bring the MetroCog into it as well because we want to talk with them about the trail that runs behind the property and some other aspects of the property that we may look to MetroCog to see if they have some funding to support. So in addition to just checking in on where the project is, how close they are to closing, are there any issues, those kinds of things, we're going to talk about some other funding because the trail system is there, and it would be great for the community or both communities to have a connection in that area. So that meeting is being set up for a few weeks from now. We're also in the process of putting a meeting together. We haven't done this yet, but I spoke with Rob and Vicky and Jim today. We want to get the permitting departments in both towns together so that they can start to meet on the permitting process. Because you're coordinating two towns and not, you know, they both follow state statute, you know, under the building code and under the fire code and so forth. But everybody does things a little differently. So we need to, instead of just coordinating our folks, we have to coordinate our folks and the Monroe folks so that we're all aligned in the project, being that it's one, you know, one building that's connected. But, you know, so it's a little bit extra is the word, I think, in this scenario to get this project done. We're not going to have that meeting for the permitting departments until the property is absolutely ready to close or has closed. Because again, anything can happen last minute, but we're working on, you know, communicating about date and process. So that project was not moving forward for a long time, as you know, for a variety of reasons, but it really has taken some giant steps forward. And I think that the retail commercial aspect of it will be very popular. I can tell you I've already gotten inquiries regarding the property. Now that people know it's probably going to be a go, you know, there's a little uptick in activity and inquiry regarding that property. And I think you're probably going to see some restaurants there. I think you're probably going to see another mix of uses there. And, you know, I think it's going to be a really great addition for both Trumbull and Monroe. So that's the Gateway Commons, soon to be renamed a new name. I wanted to talk with you about the Vessel project. That project was an 830G affordable housing application under the state statute. They came into planning and zoning. They started their process in December. They came, no, they started in December and they came back in January and again in February. In February, the commission it denied the application. And so when they deny this type of application, there's an appeal that the applicant files to the state under the 830G statutes. So that process is underway. Some might know that they were at WPCA just the other day. Because the way they look at it is they're continuing their process for, toward a final approval. So they were at WPCA. They did have some decisions made at WPCA about cost sharing on certain aspects of the project, of the sewer and infrastructure and so forth. So I expect there'll be more dialogue about this. I said before, and I know this is somewhat controversial for me to say this, but that project is somewhere, well, the commission had negotiated with them down the number of units, but now that there's a denial on the record, they can go back up to however many units they decide they want to put there. So, but I have mixed feelings about the denial. The commission has a tough job and they did what they felt was right. But I felt, and I'm not speaking for anybody except myself, but I think that what I am hoping for is that we earn enough points toward a moratorium so that we can get a stay, we can work toward a stay for 4 years on applications. That doesn't mean there won't be development happening, but it means it'll be not forced on us as much. It will be more, what's the word?
Collaborative.
Collaborative is exactly the word. It'll be more collaborative. So, however, so anyway, so my feeling was if they came in with this project and could earn about 105 moratorium points, and we haven't finalized how many we need, but we need somewhere around that many points to get a moratorium. There's still process that has to happen. The project has to be built and CO'd in order to, get an actual moratorium. And there's lots.
We lost her.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Rena.
Gia, are you texting her?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now we can hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so just tell me if it goes out and I'll click on and off. And that generally does it. If I don't know, hopefully we're not going to deal with this all night. But so, I was hoping, this one project, let's say.
Oh,
You're out again.
Am I out?
Now you're back
You're
in.
in.
Okay. It looks like we're in striking distance for a moratorium. And this project builds very quickly. It's a modular build construction. So it builds instead of a traditional project that builds in 18 to 24 months, right? This builds, and it could be longer, but this builds in 9 months start to finish. It's a very quick build so that you're cutting the amount of time in half. And so another benefit of getting toward a moratorium quicker because you have to CO the units in order to start filing for them, and file for the actual moratorium points. So I don't know. So, again, the commission has a tough job. They have to think things through, and the law is tricky in a sense, and it puts, it's sort of adversarial at times, and that's unfortunate. So that's where we stand. I think there's going to be additional discussions. Their legal folks are going to have to file within so many days, whatever they have to do for the appeal, because it's an appeal statute. Pat,
Yes, so I realize I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm new
that's
at this.
okay.
Can you just remind me how many was the original number of units, the location, and how long the appeal process usually takes?
Yep, so
you
the
know that.
location is on Reservoir Avenue.
Okay,
One property off the corner of Reservoir and Lindeman. I don't have the address in front of me. That is the location. You asked about the number of units. I think that initially it was 150. I think that they were negotiating down to I don't remember. I think it was 130 something. Do you know, Jean? You might not, it might have been Abby. Yeah, Abby's on that commission. So
it was, I want to say 136, but I wouldn't
yeah,
want to be
that
quoted.
sounds 130 something. They had negotiated down the number of units.
Okay.
It didn't get approved. I mean, it got denied, so it doesn't matter anyway, but they were trying to get it down a little bit. They had reduced the height of it, was one of the things. There was additional landscaping that they agreed to, sidewalking, landscaping, other things that a regular 830G, a lot of people come in and they feel like they're going straight to an appeal, so they don't really care and they don't add anything extra. But this group was working with us, but that's okay. Whatever happens, it's going to play out one way or another. And I think, we'll have to just see what happens. It's not an easy situation that we're in. Do you have anything else, Pat? Or you have your hand up?
no, sorry, let me take that
No,
down.
it's okay.
I have a question, Rena.
Yeah, sure.
So as far as moratorium points, we get a point per unit of the entire project, not just the affordable housing units, correct?
Well, it's broken up. So you get a quarter of a point for certain units there that are not restricted, affordable housing restricted. Then you get 2 points, I believe it is, for those units that are restricted under the affordability part. So you add all that up by the number of units and you get to, it was 105 if they lowered the unit number to say 136 units, then there's a few points that we would lose there, but that's okay. We can make them up other ways because you're close enough. But if you're at 150, I believe it was 104.5 was, I think, the exact number of points we'd earn. In the town, we need probably somewhere close to that. Maybe we need a little bit more than that, but we have also some other things that Gia and our other person, Abby, are working on, cleaning up some old sort of accessory apartments that don't have all the paperwork or whatever. We're trying to get all that cleaned up because those add some points for us too. So we have multiple efforts underway to try to move toward a moratorium. And again, this project, based on the shortened time, based on the fact that they were trying to work with us somewhat, and other things, could have gotten us closer. Now, someone asked the question, I think it was you, Justin, how long does or it might have been Pat, how long could
Yeah.
something like this take? I don't have an exact how long it takes to work through the court system or through the appeal system, but I do think it's gotten quicker is my perception. It can be a year, 2 years, depending on the complexity and what's happening. But they are moving these applications through. And it seems to me anecdotally that they're moving through faster than they used to. So, and then you're delaying moratorium points, right? and delaying a moratorium. So now your town, your community is subject to more approvals, right?
Right.
So, is that the way to go? If you hold it up in court 2 years or somebody else is applying, holding it up, this one, that one, you're subjecting yourself to more and more of these. And once it's filed, okay, let's say you have a few of them in the works, okay? Once they're in the works, even if you get a moratorium, you don't get excused on those projects that are already in the works. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's a lot to this. There's no easy answer. I've spoken out for the last probably 15 years or longer, or 20 years, probably nearing 20 years, on what I think is flawed in this legislation. It's from the 90s. They've, tweaked little pieces of it, almost to, not necessarily helpful tweaks, but I don't, they've really changed it very little. It's really difficult. I think we could have so much better policy and get so much better outcomes if we had a more collaborative, process and, but this is what it is.
Mm.
So, does
Okay.
anyone have any questions? Justin, do you have any other questions? Because I don't know if I cut you off.
No, I guess I just wanted to confirm. So it's essentially a quarter of a point for the market rate apartments. That's standard.
Yes, I believe that is standard for this type of project.
Gotcha. That's all I got. Thank you.
Quick question. What it is on the property as it stands right now? Is it vacant or is it developed with residential property?
So it's a residential property that looks like it's sort of been used as like a construction yard for years. I don't know how that came to play, that it got grandfathered or whatever into that. There's a couple of other buildings, like homes, almost residences on the property. There's a junkyard. I'll call it a junkyard. I don't, it's a construction yard, but there's lots of extra
Okay.
things on the property. Um, it's not a great situation as it is, so the property definitely needs improvement. And, so I think, it's not like we had this beautiful, pristine area that's now being considered for development. The area's been an eyesore. We discussed it when we were doing the plan for the that area. We did the municipal development plan for the Reservoir Avenue, Lindeman Drive area. And we discussed this property quite a few times and just saying, it's really not, it's kind of a detracting from the area, let's say. So we'll see what happens with that. I missed obviously missed the January meeting, and I missed the February meeting as well. I did not attend it. I was briefed on what happened by Jim Cordone and Rob and Vicky and others, but just to catch myself up on what happened. And like I said, I have mixed feelings on it. I actually think if it could be improved a bit more, maybe it helps us more than it hurts us. I know nobody wants any of this, but if we can get something that would sort of make us less susceptible to this, then maybe it's something we should discuss further.
And Rena, one more question if I could. How big is the lot size?
I think it's about 6 acres.
Okay, thank you for sharing
It's
that.
sizable.
Yeah, I was
and
trying to envision that. Yeah.
Yeah, it butts up to where 12 Cambridge, that whole area, it backs up to that.
Touch.
Any other questions on that? So just while we're here, just to update you on 12 Cambridge and 6 Cambridge, if you have an opportunity to go take a ride, I don't know, folks may not get over to this area, but I would take a ride over to 6 Cambridge. Even in the last few days, Rob and Gio told me I had pictures that were, I think, from like mid last week. or maybe Thursday of last week, sent to me by the developer. And then I think you got those. I think G sent them. G, did you send those out?
You got those?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's even a lot different since that those pictures were taken. So it's really opening up the site, and you're gonna see, it looks like it's really moving quick. So try to, just zip over there someday. Just watch. It's interesting to see the thing come down and how much actual land is there, once it's opened up. I did talk to a number of the tenants around there who were, wanting to know what was going on, and I talked to the gentleman who owns 7 Cambridge, and they were thrilled that something was happening. Fred, did you end up talking any further to the chamber about this property? I know a lot of people wanted to know where it stood.
Yes, Rena, I did share information with the chamber last week on this subject, and they were very thankful for that information and took it well.
Good, good. Because I know was Synergy Health at the meeting? I don't know, because
Yeah, that gentleman, Jay Codley, was at the meeting.
yeah.
Yes.
I spoke to Jay as well, and he was very, very happy with the progress.
Lost Frida.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Brian.
Okay. Just give me a second.
Oh, you're back.
Okay. Whenever that happens, I'll be back. So as long as you tell me. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Justin, have you been over there? Have you driven down there?
I have not, no.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, it's just, especially even in the next week or so, this thing's gonna come down really quick.
She did send an email with some pictures, so, everyone, I think, was able to see the progress.
Yeah. But what I was saying though was it's much more since then, just even then. Yeah,
Have to go by there.
yeah.
If
So,
anybody does go by and wants to take some pictures, I can circulate those as well.
great, thank you. So, 6 Cambridge is under demolition and it will be under construction very soon. Everything is going well. 12 Cambridge is going to be, they're gearing up to get their project moving, which is the senior housing right next door to that. And just to confirm to the group here, just to make sure everybody understands, the office building at 12 Cambridge will be staying there. This project is next to that on surplus property. I just want to be clear because I was speaking with one of our reporters today, and he's a very good guy, and he was clarifying, he had a bunch of questions for me, and he thought the building was staying up. And I said to myself, he's the second person who said that to me. I better make sure the commission knows that building, I mean, he thought the building was coming down, I'm sorry, but I'm telling him it's staying up. So I wanted the commission to be sure they understood the situation there. Does everybody know that? Did everybody know that? Okay, good.
Good.
That's great. So, those projects are moving along and they're gonna be going, they're gonna be coming out of the ground. They're already, gonna be coming out of the ground really quick. I wanted to just mention 2 other things. Henkel, I think you all heard about Henkel and the big expansion they're doing in Trumbull.
Right.
So they're gonna be having a groundbreaking. I think the only 2 people that got an actual invitation were me and Vicky. And I'm not, Vicky's away, and I have some things that are conflicting with it, but I'm working on that. But we're gonna send somebody to represent the town, probably Rob or Cindy Katsky or somebody like that. If we can't go, but we're really excited. This is just the groundbreaking. There'll be a whole, ribbon cutting and everything as the project moves forward. But it's really exciting, and I think they as a company are excited, and they're excited to be expanding in Trumbull. And we've had some publicity on it, but not as much as I think we should probably have. So I'm going to try to circle back on that. we also, you are aware that Cub Tech is getting all their construction planning in order to and underway to get their project, their renovation underway. They want to be in the summer. I don't know, that may or may not be ambitious, so they may be, maybe into the fall or whatever, depending on how smooth everything goes for them. But we're really excited to have them coming to Trumbull. And I know they reached out to me actually today on some things that I have to get back to them on tomorrow. So they've been very much in communication. And I think they're a great addition to the town and to our corporate park, but also to our sort of ecosystem of technology, R&D, those kinds of jobs and companies that we are growing here. Um, I mean, I got a list of stuff, but I'm going to pause there, and I'm working with a number of small businesses on space needs and things like that that we'll talk about as they firm up. You know, people have heard that, I think people have heard pretty much that Prime 111 is expanding their space. So part of the space that was the Massage Envy is going to be taken over by Prime 111 so that they can expand their footprint and do some new things and unique things to grow their business. And there also is another business that will be sharing some of that space that Massage Envy was in. It is not public, the name of that business yet, but we'll be able to at some point announce that. On another note, Rob and Gia, let me know that the little expansion they're doing on Corner Deli, they're going to be doing, you'll see where the patio was, they're going to be doing an expansion of their space to serve gelato and similar product there. I think it's a nice addition to town and to their business. That was approved a few months, probably about November, or maybe it was even earlier. I think it might have been, was it November, G? Did they go through?
I think it was a little
EPA?
earlier. It was like end of summer, early fall.
Okay, so they've been approved, so they're moving forward with they're readying for their construction there. That'll be great. Just what I need, some gelato to fatten me up because, I did take a few pounds off during this that everybody's telling me I gotta put back on. So I'm trying my darndest.
Gelato's a good step in the right direction.
Yep, I think we lost her again.
Are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
welcome back.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of other things going on. I can open the floor in case somebody wants to talk about specific things right now. I know
I'll jump in. Pediatric Healthcare Associates.
Yep.
Are you aware of any of the plans for aesthetics or plantings?
Yeah, I don't know the landscaping plan. I know that they definitely will be doing more, but I haven't, Rob would know because he has to do the planting plans and stuff like that with them. But we have heard a lot of complaints. It's interesting. There are people complaining about it. There are people yelling at people for complaining about it. So I don't know what to think. But I do think that it is, once it grows in and goes into the landscape, I'm sure it will look better. Would I've liked better facade or whatever? Yeah, I mean, I can see why people are voicing things, but it is a medical office building, so you know. But I think it's a great business. It's going to be very nice inside. I think they did a good job, I think, planning for it. And I think people they're going to be doing the ribbon cutting and open house. I think we circulated that date. or no, we may not have circulated, but I had met with them and we put a list together of people that they did not have to invite, that were not yet invited. And I hope that got to, when you sent the list over after my meeting, did they, have the ECDC on it?
No, but I can certainly circulate the information,
Yeah,
and
so just
let them know.
circulate it. Definitely circulate it. They may have been invited previously, or on a previous list. But I definitely think we should invite them, and I'll let them know that we're gonna invite them. And that is, on the 12th?
11.
The 11th of March, and what time, let's say?
Rena,
So
Yes,
going back to a corner deli, the
Yep.
first thing that comes to my mind is a parking problem. It's already parking is an issue there.
You can park in back.
yeah, there's a lot in the back, and they have side street parking, but it is tight there, no doubt. But I think that, the gelato business sort of is a little off of their primary hour, their hours. We'll have to see how it plays out, but it's, I think it's going to be manageable, but we'll see. The commission, reviewed it. They asked a lot of questions. One of the neighbors was, kind of asking, but ended up satisfied. So we didn't get a lot of neighborhood opposition or anything like that at the end. There were some people asking questions about it. But
Right.
then, it seemed to. But yeah, we'll have to deal with whatever.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Another question is, are you free to tell us any more about plans for Emma's?
No, I'm not. I had a discussion about it today, but nothing, I can't, discuss anything more at this point.
Okay.
So Rena, what happened with Mariana's? I thought they found a place here in Trumbull, and I just see they opened in Stratford.
They were looking at a number of places here and none of them worked out. So they are saying they're going to open in Stratford, and they're also saying that they're still looking for a location in addition to that in Trumbull. And there's some things that are out there that could be possibilities for them, but it's not going to be, it's not like they're going to have to make some changes in order to accomplish that.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry that they're leaving. I think it's a loss for the town. It's a business decision, their lease was not renewed. And it's not for me to say why or why it wasn't, and or what should be there, what shouldn't. People, when your lease comes to an end, they have an ability to make a business decision. And I think that's what happened. So I hope that she's a great person and she does a great job with her team. So I'm hoping that we can find something that would work for her into the future. I mean, I don't want to say much more. I think Stratford, I wish her really good luck there. Um, you know, it's a tough business, you have to really, it's not easy. And Dan,
No.
you've owned a business and it's very difficult. So, especially with margins very tight and rents high, and our rents are high in Trumbull compared to like a Stratford or some of these other places where,
Right.
they don't demand as much rent there. So that
Yeah.
comes into your equation as well. Pat, did you have something?
Mm-mm.
All right. So, but I'm hopeful that we can get her back here in another location at some point in the future. There is a small business opening where Drew BQ was. I have not spoken with them directly yet, but Rob and Gia sent me some information that they, had. And it looks like it's going to be some type of, takeout. I don't know if it's takeout, but small Italian type bistro takeout place. So hopefully they'll be a nice addition to the community and offer something hopefully a little bit different, so that people get excited about it. I don't know a lot yet about the business, but we certainly welcome them and wish them the best, and we'll reach out to them as they move forward with their renovation. So they're going to be occupying that space. There was another kind of restaurant looking at it, and I guess they fell off. There's another thing I can't really get into, one other restaurant change up going on. It's not somebody leaving, it's somebody moving to a different space, but I can't really get into that at the moment. I want to say something. These people that are going into the spot where Mariana's was, they're good people. They do a great job. They're a great addition. They're a great, presence in town. I'm always sorry when people, for whatever reason, take sides and start bashing, our businesses, but I guess it's a reality of our world today. But, Echo has been terrific. They had an opportunity to move into a space. It's a business decision. Again, they're going to be bringing something pretty great to the town. I think they're going to be doing kind of like, folks that know Sorrento, ANS, those kind, Gaetano's, that kind of a concept. They're going to be doing their first one here in Trumbull. And maybe they'll probably take that model elsewhere if it's successful, from what I have heard. So I think it's going to be very, very well received in town. And again, I don't want to see Mariana's leave either, but I'm here to support the businesses. And I don't make the decisions about tenants' leases and stuff like that. So that's under construction now. I believe they're starting the construction already on that.
So there's things happening.
Yeah, there's so many things going on. There's a lot of things in process. So, that at the right time we'll discuss further.
Do we know anything about the plans for St. Joe's? When are they planning to?
So there's discussions happening that I'm not at liberty to talk about publicly, but there is some activity being considered on the property for the property. But we're not far enough along where I would bring it to this forum. But as soon as I can, I certainly will.
Okay.
Any other?
We have a lot to look forward to. A lot of good things.
Yes. Any other things that anybody feels like I haven't, that needs information on? You could always call me between meetings, or text me or call me or whatever was good for you. Email me.
What's happening on Trefoil as far as that?
So that's still moving forward. It's under appeal. So they filed some other type of thing with the appeal just recently. So that's just going to delay it a little longer. So they're just working to delay it as long as they can. The people who are developing the property are committed. So it's just got to play out, unfortunately.
Yeah. And down on White Plains, do we know if there's going to be what kind of construction or?
So they haven't started to move forward with the real activity toward construction yet. I know they're they're certainly positioning to do so, but they haven't, from what I know, started actually moving on the actual ready to build, construction activity, moving that forward. But I think they're definitely working toward that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been some progress in Trumbull Center with tenants. This whole Wonder thing is they're taking up a large, they're taking up over 4,000 square feet there. That's not a small amount of space.
Right.
That'll be full, and they're bringing, they have some other new tenants coming. I think you all know that the Fatty Patty space is under construction and renovation for a restaurant, and it'll be owned by the same people that own Trumbull Cafe and Grill.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's you. If you drive by there, you'll see. Well, I don't know if you can see in the window. I think you can, actually. But if you go by there, you'll see that it's under construction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Do you want to move on, Raina, to the next item?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think I'm going to get into too much more except to say we already discussed the new grants that were awarded last month. But I just want to say the applications for congressionally directed spending are out. I sat through the webinar the other day. The turnaround's kind of short, so I need to meet with Vicky and George Estrada and a couple of others just to see what kinds of projects we might want to forward. So that's something I'll be doing. Though that congressionally directed spending, it's AKA earmarks. Remember we had the old earmark program years ago. It came back. So we've been really successful as a town. We received money for the Veterans and First Responder Center, both from the Senate side and from the House side. Congressman Himes and Blumenthal and Murphy Senators Blumenthal and Murphy supported separate applications for that project, so that they were really behind the Veterans and First Responder Center very much. Then we got just recently, as we discussed, the Beardsley pump station. The Beardsley infrastructure pump station and whatever else. I don't know what the name of it. The project is actually going to be, but it's the Beardsley Force Main. That's what it is. Beardsley Force Main. That's sort of infrastructure, sewer and infrastructure, water and sewer infrastructure. So that we have to go to contract on, and the contract's not out yet, but there's this meeting coming up to discuss how to go to contract on that money. And then, so we've gotten all that money from this process. So, we've been successful. So I'm hoping that we can put together a compelling shovel ready. They really stress shovel ready. They don't want projects that are going to sit around. So it's got to be something that the town can move on really quickly and that the town can demonstrate that it's a priority. So we're going to look through those lenses and come up with some projects and see if we can't secure some additional funding for the town infrastructure.
Two other things just came to mind: the Unity Road,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the other? Is it Plumtree?
Yeah, Plumtree is. I have to tune into where that is at the moment. I believe that because it is both in Easton and Trumbull, there's been lots of back and forth. I think it's still in wetlands.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of upheaval around this project and this development. And I think it's definitely something that they're trying to overbuild and so forth. So, hopefully, this thing, I don't want to say dies a quiet death because that won't happen, but I mean, maybe there's something that can be greatly reduced and can coexist with, you know, on the land nicely, rather than this really overbuilt and intrusive project. So hopefully they can take a different kind of look at this over time, because I think they're gonna have, they must be realizing they're gonna have a very hard road on this. I would think they're realizing this.
Yeah,
But we'll see. You know, again, these same statutes come back, you know, time and time again where, you know,
mm,
so the Unity Road, that's a tricky situation as well. It's a big piece of property. It's going to be developed, not because I want it to be developed or somebody else wants it. It's people have a right to do something with their property. And again, we have a lot of concerns when we have certain kinds of policy out there that makes us sort of susceptible. That's why we're working toward a moratorium, but that make us more susceptible to these kinds of projects that are less collaborative. So I think that there's discussion about trying to, you know, come to some agreement on what could be done there and so forth. I have not been on recent meetings, again, because I've been out, so I need to catch up on where exactly that stands. But I know there's Rob primarily. I traditionally don't get overly involved in regular, you know, single family housing projects that are
Right.
single family. It's not that I have nothing to do with it, but I really don't. I have a lot of other things to do, and that's not my area that I focus on. It's when projects are more scaled and are contributing to more, you know, that are more commercial in nature.
right.
Like apartments are commercial development. I know people don't see it that way, but they're commercial in nature. But this project, you know, I have had my eye on it a little bit. And I need to tune back into it. I believe it was continued at the last planning and zoning meeting. I don't believe they went forward, so I think, I don't know if they're gonna be on the next agenda for March. I have to tune into that. If you have questions about it, I think Rob's probably a better person to talk to. He's been out front more on what's happening on
Right.
the project.
Okay.
Can you speak at all about this program or the funding that we got a notice on from the town regarding getting funding for education? I mean, I know that's not necessarily in our part of the economic development, but I was just wondering. All right.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but I do believe that there are some bills or some movement at the legislature to give more of an allocation to certain towns or to all towns or certain towns around the educational cost sharing. I think there's been a long belief that some of it is not, it's, you know, the levels of it are not really fair across the system.
Right.
So I think there's a movement to do something about that, and I think Trumbull may benefit from that. I don't know a lot about it. I think if you guys have more questions, I think call Vicky's office.
Okay.
She's very involved in this because,
Yeah.
you know, she feels strongly that we're not getting what we should be getting, therefore we have to pay more, and it affects our taxes and other things. So if we can get a more appropriate allocation for our town, that would be a real positive, and help alleviate some of the increases in education.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. And I don't want to speak too much further on it because I'm not in the middle of it.
Yeah, I
I try to
will.
stay away from the Board of Ed stuff because I don't,
Uh.
you know, I don't know all the details.
Okay, thank you, though.
Mhm.
You've got enough on your hands.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Did you have anything to report on events coming up?
So we have a bunch of ribbon cuttings. I think we went through the ribbon cutting list last meeting. And I think we just pushed some of them out because some of our businesses weren't ready for the ribbon cuttings and so forth. So, and we had dates and we're trying to get, the right dates and the right people. So I think most of them are in April now, right, G? We pushed them out.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. They're gonna be in April. I don't think they're gonna. It might be the last week of March for one of them, but April for the most part.
Yeah,
But I'll circulate any dates to the commission then.
Mhm.
yeah. So I think we talked about several of them are in our corporate park actually.
Right.
So yeah, we'll get information out to you.
Good.
All right. Now we'll move on to the BRBC. Fred or Dan? You have
Good evening,
Dan, all your-
everyone. Yeah, thank you, Fred. And then just jump in because I know I wasn't at the last chamber meeting, Trumbull Chamber meeting. So if I'm missing something, but I just really had three things. Always good to see everyone. And always good to hear your voice, Rena. I'm glad to hear that you're sounds like you're recovering well, so that's good. Didn't expect anything less from you, so that's good. But three things from an event perspective, we do have we've been doing this the last several years. On March 19th is the tip off for March Madness, and we've been leveraging In Sports. They've got a great space there for watching the games and the basketball courts and all that. So on our website, we do have registration open for that March 19th. It'll be 4:30. It's an after hours. Invite any businesses or people within the community that might want to hang out and network for a bit. But there'll be, food and drink and good camaraderie on that evening. So hope to see you all there and other Trumbull businesses and businesses from around the region. Locally, outside of that, the Trumbull Chamber, I mentioned it, I kind of alluded to it last week, or last meeting, but we are reinforcing our board. What I mean by that is, we put a call to action out at the end of the calendar year in 2025 to solicit some new bodies, some new blood to join our Trumbull Chamber of Commerce board. We had a great response. Fred and Phil from my office have been doing a really great job of keeping momentum going with the chamber. We just want to broaden the tent a little bit within the Trumbull business community. So next month, we'll be officiating or whatever you want to call it, initiating the new board members into the Trumbull Chamber. That was what that email was about, Rena, and I'll send a follow-up for you. But nothing's really changing in terms of the meeting schedule or anything like that. Just some new bodies formalized a little bit since coming off the pandemic. We haven't. It's been more of a committee type sessions more than board meetings necessarily. So I just want to formalize it a little bit more. But the ask of this group, if you can, you're all active within the Trumbull business community, and Rena and Gia do a great job of connecting us, particularly with the ribbon cuttings and all that. But as you go and frequent businesses around Trumbull, we've had really good growth over the last couple of years within the chamber. But any introductions, we can't get to all the businesses on our own. There's just Phil and I, and Fred has a full-time job, and he volunteers in this role, which is why I wanted to get some more bodies on the board that can be ambassadors for us. But any chance you get to make an introduction to the Trumbull Chamber would be great. We are a great resource for the business community on a number of fronts. And we love working with Rena and Gia and the Office of Economic and Community Development, on all sorts of initiatives, from Restaurant Week to the business breakfast and other things. So it's a great partnership. I want to continue that, and I just want to continue to provide the valuable resources for the business community within Trumbull. So those are the two Trumbull specific items I wanted to talk about. The broader BRBC business regional business council activity we do have, and I'm not sure if you saw it, Rena. I know you've been in and out with the email, but on March 12th, next Thursday, we are bringing in Jeff Speck, who is an urban planner, and the conversation will be focused on Bridgeport, but he wrote a book called Walkable Livable Cities. and it's about, you know, reviving downtown communities. So it is open to the public. I believe the registration, it's free. The registration link I should have tomorrow, and I'll circulate that. I'll send Gia the flyers that you can circulate with your notes, Gia, from this meeting, so people can see what's going on. But it should be a really great conversation. We have partnerships with obviously the city of Bridgeport, the town of Stratford. Shelton is participating in it as well and bringing some of their folks. But it is open to the public. It's free. I hope anybody that's interested in learning on how to make your downtown communities thriving. Jeff Speck should add some good content for us to learn from and share and really make Greater Bridgeport a place where people do want to not only live but work and bring their businesses here. So we're just trying to do what we can through our Economic Development Committee. They're partly sponsoring this event as well. So it's a good opportunity to just connect. And again, that'll be at the Bijou Theater on Thursday, March 12th. I believe it starts at 6 p.m. But all the info will circulate through the flyer that I have for Gia.
I think it's 5:30.
Facebook said
Oh,
it's at
5:30.
Cabaret. This says it's at the Bijou. Where is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. It is Downtown Cabaret. It's
Oh.
Downtown Cabaret. Did I say Bijou Theater?
Thank you,
Sorry.
Beryl.
Yeah, sorry. And in fact, I have the flyer up on my laptop. I was going to share it, but then I figured I'll just speak to it and have Gia send out the notes later. But yes, it is at the Downtown Cabaret. Thanks for calling me out on that, Beryl.
All right. Fred, did you want to add anything?
No, Dan covered most of our information. Look forward to seeing everybody at the business after hours for March Madness if you can attend. Thank you, Ed, for everything.
Okay, sounds like fun. I don't think there's anyone from the community attending. So if not, is there any other questions or comments that anybody has or would like to make? If not, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, and Rena, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thanks to everybody and it's,
Everybody else.
appreciate you all. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.